Chair recognizes the Senator from Hampshire, Franklin and Worcester, Senator Comerford.
And through you to our colleagues. I rise today for the great and unparalleled equity engine that is public higher education. I rise for access, for affordability. I rise in support of tackling the daunting debt holding back rising generations. I rise to honor public workers, staff and faculty of our state's excellent public higher education institutions. And I rise knowing many in this chamber are champions of public higher education. Last week, I was in Greenfield Community College with Higher Education Commissioner Noe Ortega and GCC President Michelle Shute. We talked candidly about the power of public higher education to radically transform a person, a family, a community, radically transform their trajectory. We talked about the necessary efforts to strip away barriers to access and success, about work to wrap around services and supports that account for the total cost of college in order to see a student through to completion. The research is clear. Invest in public higher education means investing in students, families, communities, and our economy. The promise of this work is limitless. Limitless, sort of like the view from the towering W.E.B. Du Bois Library at UMass Amherst, a beacon calling the Commonwealth to remember Dr. Du Bois's searing call to action, quote, "Of all the civil rights which the world has struggled and fought for 5,000 years, the right to learn is undoubtedly the most fundamental." The right to learn. To our collective peril, this right to learn, the Commonwealth's investment in this engine of equity has been eroding for far too long. In national rankings, we have lingered with states devoting the least amount of public dollars to public colleges and universities, resulting in tuition and fees increasing faster than family income and financial aid not nearly keeping pace with need. Not surprisingly, this has resulted in fewer students enrolling in higher education. Despite the number of high school student graduates in Massachusetts increasing by 5% between 2013 and 2021, the number of students enrolling in colleges or universities after high school in the Commonwealth decreased over that same period of time. More concerning still, and I know the Senate shares this, is the widening gap for students of color. For example, in the past 5 years, there has been a 22% decrease in Black student enrollment in our community colleges and a 9.5% decrease in Black student enrollment in our state universities. Today, we, with this beautiful budget, are saying no more to this inequity, this widening gap. We are pairing, thanks to the vision of the Senate President and the work of the Chair of Ways and Means and their intrepid teams, we are pairing bold and historic investments with transformative policy. I, like my sister from Arlington, will repeat just a few of some of the investments that the Chair so ably described. $683 million for the University of Massachusetts, $348 million for 15 community colleges, $337 million for 9 state universities. And there's more. The Senate's commitment to mental health shines through with more than $4 million for student behavioral health in public higher education. And this is targeted for crisis intervention and responses to sexual assault, substance use disorder services, and assistance for students struggling with stress, anxiety, or other mental health challenges. A total of $275 million for scholarship programs which focus aid for low-income and in-state undergraduates at our colleges and universities. $275 million. $125 million toward capital funding for campus infrastructure, a really strong first step to address the multi-billion-dollar backlog in deferred maintenance. The budget language emphasizes making our buildings healthy and green. So as we are able to tackle, thanks to this budget, deferred maintenance, we're also meeting public health and climate challenges. $30 million in new fair share revenue funds for wraparound student services, including academic support and case management, to begin breaking down the barriers to the total cost of attending college. And in addition, this budget allocates $14 million to the Success Program, it's ably named, supporting urgent community college equity through student services. This beautiful program provides vital wraparound support services to improve outcomes for students, again, who are low income or first-generation students, students of color, students living with disabilities, and LGBTQ students. This supports peer mentors, academic skill workshops, field trips to four-year schools, targeted academic career transfer and scholarship advising, and more. This program, dollar for dollar, is stretched in really beautiful ways. And more. So our Senate President inspired us in her opening speech with a historic goal: free community college for everyone in the Commonwealth. Over the past months, I have heard the President's crystal clear conviction that community colleges are more important now than ever. They are rooted deeply in local communities, providing educational, vocational, and social resources for among the most marginalized, those disproportionately ravaged by the COVID pandemic. Senate President Spilka is also clear that these same colleges are also hubs of innovation, central to churning out class after class of students able to tackle the complex and technical 21st century jobs, the bedrock of a thriving community and Commonwealth. With this budget, the Senate is all in. One, here's three things the way that we're all in. $20 million to create a Mass Reconnect, a free new community college program created by Governor Healy that fills in a financial gap for adults over 25 without a college degree. Two, $20 million for a free community college program the chair described so well for nursing students to address a critical nursing shortage. And in this way, we are piloting the Senate President's vision. And three, the Senate allocates $15 million to plan and prepare to offer free community college for all by the fall of 2024. The funds will allow policymakers to work with community colleges to collect necessary data, research and develop best practices, work through the complexities, and build capacity for a free community college system, because we are hell-bent on getting this right. And finally, our budget writes into law in-state tuition for all high school graduates in Massachusetts. If we are really to share Dr. Du Bois's belief that everyone should be afforded the civil right of learning, we must welcome all students equally to our public campuses, regardless of national origin or immigration status. And I, like the chair, want to say kudos to the gentleman from Lynn, my friend, for leading on this issue, and to the Senate for supporting this necessary step forward. Welcome all students to public higher education in a way that they know that they belong, that they have a right to college. The philosophy is the cornerstone of Greenfield Community College, where a banner hangs across the campus that reads, "You belong here." That is what the Senate is saying today to students and families in Massachusetts. You belong in our public colleges and universities. In closing, once again, I cheer our Chair of Ways and Means and our Senate President and their intrepid teams. Together, thanks to their leadership, we are paving the way for what I'll call a historic comeback in public higher education investment. Public higher education is, yes, an equity engine. It is also an economic development necessity, a democracy imperative, and above all, a profound down payment on the future of our Commonwealth and on generations to come. Thank you.